Assalamualaikum, good morning everyone. Today we will present a problem scenario for microeconomy focusing on topic 2 and 3. Our course code is DPB 10053 and we are from class DPR 1A. This presentation is prepared under the guide of our lecturer Puan Saadiah binti MD Amin. Let us introduce our team. My name is Muhammad Safwan bin Muhammad Fazli and my partner is Muhammad Shadiq Daniel bin Sabruliman. Together, we have worked on this presentation to analyze and discuss a real-world economic issue. The issue we are focusing on is the rising cost of roasting coffee, which has led to price hikes and change in the coffee market in Malaysia. To deal with the problem, many cafe owners are turning to cheaper options or changing their supply source. This situation reflects microeconomic concepts such as supply and demand, production costs and consumer behavior. We will explore how the issue affects produce and consumer and what decisions are made as a result of economic pressure. So, question 1. Demonstrate how the increase in raw material price as described in the article impact the market supply for the coffee cafe. For question 1, we asked to demonstrate how the increase in raw material price, specifically coffee beans, impact the market supply for coffee cafe. According to the article, coffee bean price have increased significantly, which directly raised the cost of production for cafe. A crisis of supply curve shift. This diagram shows how the supply curve shift due to rising input costs. Line S, the lower blue line, is the original supply curve. It represent the quantity of coffee that cafe we willing and able to supply at different price before the increased cost. Line S2, the upper blue line, is the new supply curve after the cost of coffee bean increase. This line shift to the left, meaning that at every price level cafe are now supplying a small quantity of coffee. This leftward shift happened because higher input costs make it more expensive to produce coffee. As a result, some cafe might reduce their production, raise the price, or even stop selling coffee altogether. In conclusion, the increase in raw material price lead to a decrease in market supply, as shown by the leftward shift in the supply curve. Okay, explanation of change in the supply curve. Now, let's talk about the change in the supply curve. One major factor in the increase in raw material price, according to the article, in 2024, the price of Arabica coffee rose by 83% and Robusta rose by 73%. This was mainly caused by severe weather conditions in Brazil and Vietnam, which lead to crop failure and shortage of coffee beans. Secondly, we look at higher production costs for cafe. Coffee beans are the main input to coffee production. For example, Readyview coffee state in the day roast coffee now costs up to RM100 per kilo. The increase in input costs raise the overall cost of supplying coffee, which in turn causes a decrease in supply. When production becomes more expensive, cafe are least willing to supply coffee at the same price. This causes a leftward shift in the supply curve, meaning supply decrease. Looking at real business reaction, Readyview Coffee tried to manage cost by roasting beans in the house, reduce cost to RM40 per kilogram, but they are still affected by rising bean price. Kapung Brew is expecting at 25% increase in cost will impact their supply. Will Elena from whatever work profit trying to maintain stable price, but acknowledge that the rising cost will eventually affect their supply too. Market event example. Here are some real market events happen in Brazil. Coffee farms were hit by drought, frost and extreme heat. In Vietnam, they experienced both drought and heavy rainfall. This extreme weather condition damaged coffee crop, resulting in the reduced harvest and a lower global supply of coffee beans. As a result, the price of raw coffee material increased significantly. Arabica rose 83% and Robusta 73%. Cafe owner like Hijaz and Sekwan now have to pay more to soak either green or roasted bean. This leads to a shift in the supply curve when input costs rise. Cafe are less able and less willing to supply coffee at previous price. So the supply curve shift left from S1 to S2, showing a market-wide decrease in coffee supply. So question 2, describe the effect on market equilibrium when the supply of coffee decreases due to rising raw material costs, assuming demand remains constant. So for this question, we're looking at what happens when the supply of coffee goes down, mainly because raw material price like coffee beans have shot up. We assume demand stay the same, so basically people still want coffee, but there less of being supplied. Alright, here what's that look on the graph. The red line is demand curve. It stay where it's since we assuming no change in demand. The blue line labeled S1 is the original supply curve, but after the cost of production increase, supply drop, and we get a new curve S2 which is shift to the left. Now, if you look where S1 and D interest, that was our original equilibrium, meaning the original price and quantity. After the supply decrease, the new intersection point between D and S2 is our new equilibrium. And as you see, this lead to a higher price and lower quantity. So yeah, coffee get more expensive and there less of it value.
Good morning everyone. Today I will explain about change in the market equilibrium curve. Firstly, based on market theory, when supply decrease but demand remains constant, a shortage occurs at the old equilibrium price. To balance the market, price must rise and the quantity exchange will fall. Number 3, as a result, a new equilibrium is created at a higher price and a lower quantity. Now, based on the article, we can see a sharp rise in coffee beans price. Arabica beans increased by 83% due to drought and frost in Brazil. Robusta beans rose by 73% because of drought and rain in Vietnam. This situation leads to higher production costs for Malaysia cafe owner. Next, let's look at the effect on cafe supply. At Hijaz Rendezvous Coffee, they switched to in-house roasting to cut costs, reducing their cost from RM100, RM100 per kilogram to RM40 per kilogram. At Che1 Kampung Brew, they are concerned about 25% increase in raw material costs and expect to raise their selling price. Meanwhile, at Elena Whatever Works Coffee, they are trying to keep price stable but acknowledge that there is pressure to adjust price. As a result, there is a change in market equilibrium. Due to the decrease in supply, cafes sell less coffee unless price rise. The market reacts by setting a new equilibrium at higher price and a lower quantity available, just as market theory predicts. Now let's move on to strategy that cafe owner can use to manage rising costs. The first strategy is roast coffee in-house. Here, cafe owner roast their own green coffee beans instead of buying roasted beans. For example, Hijaz Suhaimi from Revenue Coffee managed to reduce costs significantly from RM100 per kilogram to only RM40 per kilogram. This approach greatly reduces raw material costs, gives better control over quality and flavor, and helps cafes stay competitive with their pricing. The second strategy is to educate customer and promote home brewing. This involves training customer to brew cafe quality coffee at home using the cafe signature bean. For instance, Rendezvous Coffee actively encourage their customer to learn home brewing technique. This strategy strengthens customer relationship and loyalty, increase the sale of take-home coffee beans, and keeps the brand engaged with customers even outside the cafe. The third strategy is to offer type product and pricing options. This means providing different types of coffee at various price levels to attract a wider range of customers. For example, Whatever Works Coffee, owned by Elena Amin, offer both affordable and premium options. This strategy helps attract both budget-conscious and premium customer, ensures flexibility during economic change, and helps sustain sales even when price go up. The fourth strategy is to diversify coffee bean suppliers. Cafe can source beans from both international and local suppliers to avoid depending too much on one region. For example, beans are sourced from Ethiopia, Colombia, Brazil, and local roaster in Penang. This approach reduces risk from supply disruption, ensures a more stable inventory and cost control, and increase resilience against global market change. The last strategy is gradual and transparent price adjustment. This means raising price slowly while clearly communicating the reason to customer. For example, Sheikh Wan Sufyan, owner of Kampung Brew, stated that if price increase and necessary, they will be introduced carefully to avoid losing customer. This strategy is important because it avoids sudden customer dissatisfaction. It helps build customer trust and understanding, and it allows the business to stay profitable without sacrificing customer loyalty. In conclusion, rising global coffee bean price have created challenge for cafe owners. However, with innovative and practical strategies like roasting beans in-house, promoting home brewing, offering flexible pricing, diversifying suppliers, and managing price change transparently, this challenge can be managed. The solutions are realistic, backed by real-life example, and align well with the point discussed in the article.